The responsibility for performing these exams has largely shifted from VA medical centers to contractors who provide the medical professionals called examiners. In 2024, they performed 93% of the exams at a cost of over $5 billion. Robust oversight of contractors is important for ensuring quality exams because errors can result in incorrect decisions, costly rework, and delays for the veteran. To oversee contracted exam performance, in 2016, VBA established the Medical Disability Exam Office. My testimony today discusses, first, VBA's processes for overseeing exam quality, and second, GAO's 5 recommendations for improving these processes. Since 2016, VBA has refined its processes for overseeing contracted exams and implemented numerous GAO and VA Inspector General recommendations along the way. VBA oversees exam quality using a variety of techniques that fall into 3 categories. Prevention. These techniques aim to prevent errors or low-quality work from occurring during exams. These include things like training and guidance. Second, detection. These techniques aim to identify exam errors that do occur. These are things like using checklists to review completed exam paperwork for errors. And third, correction. These techniques respond to exam errors, things like contractor quality action plans and imposing financial incentives for performance. While VBA has put in place these oversight processes, our recent work has identified opportunities to strengthen them. Specifically, in our 2024 and 2025 reports, we found, first, breakdowns in procedures for tackling the most frequent or complex problems with contracted exams. Second, incorrect financial incentive payments to contractors. And third, a gap in obtaining firsthand perspectives from examiners, a key stakeholder group. To address these issues, GAO made 5 recommendations. VA agreed in principle with each recommendation and has described plans to address them. As of today, VA has made some progress, but none of the 5 have been fully implemented. VA needs to fully address these recommendations to improve exam quality. Let's look at each of these recommendations now. 2 of our 5 recommendations focus on VBA's efforts to correct the most frequent exam errors and address the most complex problems, such as claims dealing with military sexual trauma and traumatic brain injury. For example, we found VBA's oversight of contractors' planned corrective actions lacked procedures to follow up to determine whether they were implemented and effective. Effectively addressing root causes is critical for correcting the identified problems and preventing future reoccurrences, all while fostering a culture of a continuous improvement. 2 other recommendations deal with VBA's efforts to hold contractors accountable by assigning financial incentives to contractors based on their performance, which includes exam quality. We found that VBA did not have written procedures for checking the accuracy of its calculations for these incentives, resulting in some mistakes. For instance, VBA overpaid almost $2.3 million in financial incentives in the first quarter of fiscal year 2024. Our 5th recommendation focuses on collecting and addressing feedback directly from examiners who perform these exams and who provide a key perspective on exam quality issues. We found that VBA did not collect feedback directly from examiners. 5 of the 6 examiners we randomly selected and interviewed said that they would like the opportunity to provide feedback directly to VBA, and all 6 said unaddressed concerns about quality made it harder to provide high-quality exams. In summary, fully implementing our 5 recommendations would help VBA improve exam quality, particularly by identifying and correcting the most frequent errors and tackling the most complex issues. Ultimately, improving the contracted exam process would support accurate decisions on claims and help veterans receive benefits they are entitled to without delays. This concludes my prepared statement, and I am happy to address your questions.